So I've been getting a lot of comments and messages from people who think that ADA is worthless. Now anybody who knows my stance on crypto knows that I strongly disagree with this point of view, but it's still a very common perspective and I wanted to make a video to clear things up and share my thoughts on the subject, leaving the verdict to you the individual investor and the court of public opinion. Before we get to that, if you're not yet a subscriber then be sure to become one for more content like this. So the train of thought as far as I'm aware is that no currency without intrinsic value can sustainably operate as a currency. And this is actually true. For those who are unsure, the term intrinsic value is referring to the value of an object in question, in this case a currency, independent of its value in its current use. In other words, in order to determine the intrinsic value of a currency, one would have to appraise the currency's value as if it were not a currency. The US dollar, the British pound, and many other currencies, of course, are not backed by gold or anything else of value, and therefore, in effect, their intrinsic value is equivalent to the extremely useful slip of paper which they are printed on. Because if tomorrow the masses woke up and decided not to blindly place faith in the dollar, the faith which is propping up the system, what would the dollar be worth? The answer is, of course, nothing. Well, nothing other than that slip of paper. And it's understandable that some people think that because cryptos are digital currencies, there is no value behind them, and therefore there is no intrinsic value, just like the US dollar. However, although this viewpoint is understandable to people who don't know much about crypto, and by the way, a lack of knowledge about crypto seldom stops people from preaching in this space, I really believe that this viewpoint is simply incorrect, and I'll explain why. While there are many crypto projects which are truly worthless, in fact probably the majority, as they have no unique value and most are just far worse copies of existing larger cryptos and therefore have no real purpose for existing. In my view, Cardano and ADA are one of the few who actually possess real value. And I think that ADA, being a utility token, represents the value of the Cardano project, and therefore ADA derives its intrinsic value from the value which Cardano can provide to users in the form of smart contract and decentralized application services. And in order to try and justify my point of view, I believe that I have to satisfy two main points. The first is that a digital currency can possess intrinsic value, and the second is that Cardano and ADA specifically have a legitimate source of intrinsic value. As for the first point, I believe that I have made an adequate case for justifying that a digital currency can possess intrinsic value, if such conditions exist that the digital asset has a value independent of being a currency and therefore possesses a unique value. Now as for my view that Cardano and ADA specifically do possess a form of intrinsic value themselves, as mentioned before, Cardano, like a regular business would, provides services which are of use to a certain demographic or set of customers, and I believe that this is evidenced by the fact that they have managed to land and retain partners. As if they didn't have any value to provide to the world, nobody or no business in their right mind would partner with and then continue to be a partner of Cardano, if there was no cost saving or quality improving incentive to do so. And the fact that Cardano do have many prominent partners is in my view evidence that they do have value. And for these organizations and potential partners, if they want to continue to benefit from or start benefiting from those cost saving or quality improving benefits, then they have to accumulate ADA, and therefore ADA has a unique value and reason to be in demand. A reason which is only possessed by ADA and nobody else, which in my mind is more than justifiable as a form of independent value and a form of intrinsic value. And again, this is just my opinion. If you're one of those people who think that I'm wrong, I want to say that while I strongly disagree, I also respect your right to an opinion and would like it if you challenge my view in the comment section below, so that we can engage in civil conversation and, as mentioned at the beginning of this video, involve the community and leave the ultimate verdict to the court of public opinion. Having said that, for the rest of the community, I think that I've shared some fairly compelling justifications and reasoning for the viewpoint that Cardano and ADA do possess a unique value, and I for one am as bullish as ever on the long-term prospects of this project. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed, then be sure to subscribe and thanks for watching.